Durag Wisdom, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Earth Date Y2K 21.03.25. The music you'll be hearing in the background once again is various. Got to take advantage of having all that music in that well-stuffed iPod I got in there, the poor thing. Quote, "A well-regulated militia being necessary to the security of a free state, the right of the people to keep and bear arms shall not be infringed." Unquote. The Second Amendment of the U.S. Constitution. We can't walk into a supermarket anymore without being wary. See Boulder, Colorado. Supermarkets get added to the places of worship, to schools, to the movie theaters, and to shopping malls as places we can now be massacred in by gun-wielding maniacs. Try to get something done in Congress that goes against the will of the violent fascists, and we end up with the insurrection of Y2K 2101.06. Something has gone seriously wrong with our country. Where are we safe anymore, ladies and gentlemen? When will the murderers decide on their next step and simply invade our private homes altogether? It seems that there is no way we are going to get out of this morass. The only way out, of course, is to regulate the firearms in our country. And this will only be done once our nation fundamentally understands the entire textual Second Amendment, not just half of it. You must understand the mentality of the citizens of the newly formed USA. They were traumatized and rightly paranoid about any kind of rule, constitutional or otherwise. Nevertheless, they had to have some form of government, or else their newly formed society would descend into chaos. Compromises had to be made, and the Second Amendment eventually was one of them. Yes, our newly formed country would have a president, but his powers would be limited by the separation of powers. Just in case the president of the USA decided to stage a coup and usurp the government, the Constitution guaranteed that regulated state militias would be allowed, so that in case civilians would be needed, their right to have their own firearms would not be prohibited. Imagine a well-regulated militia, civilian militia, without firearms. Then imagine this. It is 100 years after the founding of our country, and the president decides to become a dictator. There is no reason to fear. The Constitution again allows well-regulated state militias. This alone gives citizens the right to have firearms. Therefore, the governors of the states could instantly organize civilian militias with the assurance that most of them would have their own firearms. Called upon to defend their state and their country against a dictator, the regulated civilian state militias would stand on the front lines to defend with their blood the freedom the Constitution guarantees. The Second Amendment contains around 27 words and is easy to understand. But in Y2K21, 140 years after the historic events of our country's founding, and during an era of modern technology and reality show mental sophistication, we have so far stopped burning women for witchcraft, but give us time, for example. We have little or no understanding of those extremely professionally written and clear 27 words. I have a minimum of legal knowledge. Therefore, I wouldn't want to run for office, because I believe a person should be well versed in the law before they decide to wield it, especially if they're in office. But just in case they let me, and I had to decide the law on the Second Amendment, here is how I understand it and how I would wield it. The Second Amendment was written in a time when no one could have imagined assault weapons and nuclear bombs. It was written before we had something called a state National Guard, or a standing army for that matter. When the Constitution refers to a regulated state militia, it is referring to those made up of civilians who are temporarily drafted into defending their state against attack using firearms they already possess. I've said that again and again. Hence, the exact words of the Second Amendment, quote again, "A well-regulated militia being necessary to the security of a free state, the right of the people to keep and bear arms shall not be infringed." I got this throat thing. Old people get throat things. I don't know, but I am not comfortable with an understanding of our Second Amendment without any reference to a well-regulated state militia. But the only place that I know of that refers to well-regulated militias is in our Constitution. The way most read this amendment, the first part about the well-regulated state militias is left off. Those who scream bloody murder about their rights to own assault weapons and the like, maybe even photon torpedoes, just wait until I'm in charge. Because regarding this amendment, I am a strict textualist. President Durag will allow every citizen to own a firearm if they understand that they must be registered for and possibly drafted in time of civil war a regulated civilian state militia that would function side by side with the traditional state National Guard. Here is how the Second Amendment would work under my administration. I, Citizen X, want to purchase a firearm or two, or 50. I, too, must go through every background check that there is, including my visit to a crazy proctologist and the hemorrhoid surgery that follows. Wow, did that hurt. Wow, I then understood the phrase about all roads leading to Rome. If I pass this background test, I am then required to register with the well-regulated state militia. Required. For the rest of my life, for as long as I possess firearms, I will be required to attend monthly meetings of the well-regulated state militia, and twice a year I will be required to attend weekend seminars and basic training. So when the time comes, I and others in the well-regulated state militia and well-trained will do our parts in defending every value in our deal our country and its Constitution stands for. But what if I don't want to be forced to join a well-regulated state militia, be able to own my own firearms? I always want to own my own gun. Why can't I? Why do I have to join a state militia? Ah, my friend, my fellow citizen. Here is the answer from President Durag. As his Uncle Ben told Peter Parker in the first dumb Spider-Man movie, quote, "With great power comes great responsibility," unquote. You want to have great firepower? You must wield it with great responsibility. I am a strict fundamentalist textualist when it comes to the interpretation of our holy second constitutional amendment. It says something about a well-regulated state militia that could be needed to protect a free state in case, for example, if the 45th president won another term. You can't have a viable, well-regulated state militia if its citizens are not allowed to have their own firearms. The Second Amendment was a perfect compromise that enabled the formation of a well-regulated state militia simply because it allowed citizens to have their firearms. Why would anyone in a country whose states have well-regulated militias, trained and ready, want to own firearms themselves? We have massive police forces. I mean, come on. Come on. Come on, man. I understand that people want to defend their homes. In any event, like from that guy in the background, you hear him? Hear that guy? Want to defend your homes from him? Gojira. Godzilla. So understand this. In any event, if you want to own a firearm, my friend, my fellow citizen, a weapon that wields the ultimate pain of death, you must also be unselfish, patriotic, and ready to sign up and participate in a well-regulated state militia where you reside. This is in the Constitution. Gun enthusiasts, gun owners, gun fetishists should have more skin in the game, more responsibility, and they should learn how to read the Second Amendment once and for all. Goddess damn it! If I ever decide to purchase a firearm, I hope someone in charge takes the Second Amendment seriously and textually. And you will see my 70-year-old ass at the first and at every subsequent monthly meeting of our well-regulated New York, in this case, state militia. If there are no well-regulated state militias, according to our Constitution, textually, there is absolutely no right to own firearms. But how are we to defend our homes? How are we to defend our homes if we are not allowed firearms? Yes, you need your firearms. Yep! With great firepower, there is great responsibility. And the price a gun owner must pay to his or her country for that firepower is their obligation to join a well-regulated state militia and be prepared to be on hand to give their life, the last full measure of their life, in case our country is attacked within by a dictator. Man, am I textual!